Okay, when you work for an entity that doesn't necessarily like a group of people, if you're willing to talk down on those people, you get advancement in your employment. Just like a police officer, just like that scene in Boys in the Hood. I can't stand you, niggas. You know, I mean, he was, you know, he probably ended up being a sergeant. He's probably David Clark's, you know, great granddad or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that advances you in their world because that is the mentality of the people you work with. So what do? What does a guy like Booger McFarlane do? What does Warren Sapp do? They get on Myles Garrett and talk bad about him. Okay, you say, okay, well, why can't they do that? How come they can't have an opinion on that? Okay, that's fine. We'll say we can do that. You can have an opinion on him. Cool. But let's just talk about the other opinions from other analysts before I get to my main point. Again, Dalvin Cook, his environment, things in his past, they want to question his character. Fair or unfair? Okay, fine. You want to do that? Cool. You want to say, you know, he's done things in the past, and he has people around him, which I think is bullshit, and we're going to question his character because of that, and that's why they're saying he won the second round. We'll get into that further. Okay, cool. Josh Dobbs, can't say anything about his character, can't say anything about his intelligence, can't say anything about his resume, his record, if you actually watch him play and look at his numbers for what he did in his career. So what do you say? He's not dedicated to football. I mean, he's so smart, he couldn't possibly care about playing in the NFL. When have they ever downgraded a colonizer for being intelligent? Fucking incredible. Motherfucker. But the shit they try to sell us is fucking unreal. They think we're stupid. Joe Mixon, obviously his past issues were brought up. And I'm not even saying you can't bring them up. I think it's bullshit that every time they say his name, they bring that up. But okay, there's a standard set. You're going to talk about Dalvin Cook, you're going to talk about Mixon, even though it happened a long time ago and you're just rehashing it around the time it may or may not fuck up his money. That's what you're doing. Okay, that's what you choose to do. Cool. Motherfucker. Cam Robinson was not the first lineman taken in the draft. I'll get into why I think he should have went and why I don't understand why the team that should have got him didn't get him. I'll get into that, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'll get into why I think he should have been off the board already, but he wasn't even the first lineman taken. You know who was? Garrett Bowles. I might be wrong. I think I'm right. Garrett Bowles was the first lineman taken out of Utah. Went to Denver. Hey, congratulations. You're on a good team. If you get to start, you're in there, you cemented in that position. Cool. Nothing wrong with that. Congratulations to the young man. I'm glad he's doing well. I'm glad he's in the league, as I am for anybody. But my thing, did y'all know? I'm just curious because I looked around. I didn't see much coverage. I didn't see a lot of coverage about it. I didn't see much talk about it. There wasn't any profound articles. You know, like I was saying, Myles Garrett, everybody was tearing him up. Before the draft, they made sure to say, I don't think he has a motor. He's not going to make it. You get Warren Sapp on there. You get Booger McFarlane on there. They're pushing that narrative. Everybody needs to know he doesn't have a motor. Dalvin Cook, hey, he has a lot of people around him. Entourage, you know those guys, make you uncomfortable, thugs. They had that to say about Dalvin Cook. Oh, God. Josh Dobbs. I tell you what, a great kid. Smart. A really smart leader. Stayed 4 years. I just don't know if he cares about football, though. Damn. Motherfucker. Okay, you can overanalyze. You can deeply analyze all of those players and find all those things and reach and search for things. But why? Why in the hell? And I'm not even saying it's something that's cool to do, but I'm talking about being consistent. Did y'all know that Garrett Bowles had been to prison? Prison! They never said shit. And this was my entire problem when all of the Myles Garrett shit was going on. I was like, why the fuck are you reaching for things to say negatively about Myles Garrett? Why the hell are you reaching to be nice to a Christian McCaffrey? I'll get into him more later. But, and I've said this once and I'll say it over again. Anytime that they're just out of the blue, just jumping on a ninja for no apparent reason, looking and reaching for shit to talk about and or rehashing the same damn story, anytime that's going on, anytime that's happening, dude, easy sign. Colonizer tricks. Hashtag colonizer tricks. Stake throwing. Anytime they're doing that, a colonizer has done something they're deflecting from. Anytime there's just an overture and oversaturation of some story like the NBA player thing, where they were talking about players resting and things were going on then, they're deflecting. Right now, what they're deflecting from was the fact that Gary Bowles went to fucking prison. But they're rehashing the things that happened with Joe Mixon. They're rehashing Dalvin Cook's pass. Anybody who they can. Cam Robinson wasn't even the first lineman taken. Just like in real life, as I said, sports is a microcosm of society. Just like in real life, a white man with a fucking record can get the job quicker than your black ass.
Motherfucker.
Wouldn't you say Cam Robinson was the best lineman in the draft? For the most part? We're getting the way he should have won again. But my only point is, why the hell wasn't it talked about? He went to prison, and I'm not even saying, and I hate to clarify, again, I'm glad he got his money, do your thing. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the media. They think we're stupid. Why the fuck would I care about you talking about Myles Garrett's motor, breaking down Josh Dobbs saying he isn't dedicated because he's too fucking smart? Telling me Dalvin Cook, even though he hasn't done shit since the incident, isn't a good guy because you're uncomfortable with the people around him. Have you ever thought if I was around you and your friends, I might be uncomfortable because I think y'all a bunch of short-sighted jackasses? You ever consider that? Only problem is you're setting the standard and the narrative in the situation, and you get to say what is right, what is wrong, who is good, who is bad, and who is not, who is or who isn't a good person to be around. You don't know them cats. You probably live in an environment where you're barely around, and when you do, they're a certain type. Nothing wrong with that, but you're not used to being around them, therefore you're uncomfortable, therefore you don't like them. Who are you to question character when a man has been to prison, you don't bother mentioning it? You can't do that when you're reaching for Josh Dobbs and telling me he's not dedicated because he's smart. You're talking about Dalvin Cook, you're rehashing Joe Mixon. You're saying Myles Garrett does not have a motor. You bring two people on to reinforce that shit. But you never mentioned that Gary Bowles went to fucking prison?
Motherfucker.
How the fuck does that work? Damn, they think we stupid than a motherfucker. The same way Christian McCaffrey's getting pumped to me over these other running backs. I think you'll see it as the year goes on. Don't understand his draft position. Get into it later. But even if you go back when Cam Newton was getting ready to come into the league, they questioned his character and ability to play football. Questioned whether he was a good guy. They were reaching for anything. So how come somebody that went to prison doesn't get a mention? How come when you look on the news clips and look in the internet, dude, they don't say a damn thing about it? He had troubles in his past. Troubled past, and he overcame it. And God, such a story of perseverance. And I'll tell you what, when you want to tell your kids about perseverance, you point to Garrett Bowles. You motherfuckers.
Motherfucker.
They are more comfortable with a white man that's been to prison than a ninja that's been accused of something and or is loud or rambunctious or has been, has had some type of offense to where he's done his time or served his sentence and or was found not guilty and or served his suspension, and they can never forgive him. But you can forgive a man that did something to put him in prison. I'm not even trying to throw the young man under the bus. I'm not even going to talk about details. I'm not even going to bother. But my point is, he went to prison. Why the fuck didn't you talk about it? How the hell is this a draft pick that went to prison and nobody gives a shit to talk about it? You're a journalist, right? They think we're fucking stupid. They think we're stupid in the way that Deshaun Watson was not the first quarterback taken. From the time not even when the draft started, before the season started, they were already telling you can't play. The same way they're doing with Lamar Jackson now, the same way they're going to do with my man at Florida State, the same way they're doing with Jalen Hurts, the same way they're going to do with any ninja that's playing quarterback effectively and winning, even if he wins a national championship and throws for over 400 yards on Alabama twice. Sorry, 334 Bama boy and Grego, my bad. I'm just saying, they still downgrade him. When Cam Newton came out, dude said some shit about he got a fake smile. He's insincere. He looks for the cameras and knows where they are. What the fuck you talking about?
Motherfucker.
You know why they talked about that shit? Because if you talked about football, you couldn't talk about nothing but W's. But you don't know about or feel it's important to mention that a man went to prison? That's not a question on his character? I've heard people say that people in the draft that were loud or were too emotional, you better watch them. Oh God, you see that emotion? You put that emotion in the wrong environment and you might have a problem. Keep an eye on that guy. And they haven't said shit about Gary Bowles other than what a story. He had a troubled past. What the fuck kind of coverage is that? I said it once, I say it again. If you're a colonizer, you get a pass. If you got melanin, they're getting your ass. My only issue, my only thing, and I said it once and I say the shit again, same old thing, man. Anytime they're going after rehashing the same stupid ass story like players resting or a guy not hustling when all you see from him is production, when all you see is nothing but a good player and they're looking for reasons to tell you he's not, when you see the Deshaun Watsons of the world who get pushed to the side for players who are less heralded and or accomplished. When a guy like Trubisky gets drafted second, and again, I'm going to get into that a little bit later. We're going to talk about the draft. We're going to get into the format. When a guy like Trubisky gets drafted before Watson, but then you see other progression where Andy Reid sees to get Patrick Mahomes at 10 because he knows he needs a quarterback and he sees a steal. But yet the steal is not Watson, but that was his choice. He chose to get Mahomes. Watson lands in a great spot. But the point is, look at all the people they're trying to put in front of him, man. It's nothing different. Mitch Trubisky equals Blake Bortles, equals Jake Locker, equals Blaine Gabbert, equals Jared Goff, equals Paxton Lynch, equals Connor Cook. A Caucasian quarterback who didn't have the credentials, the numbers, the resume, and or the accomplishments that got preferential treatment and or a higher grade and or a higher pick in the draft based on what he looks like. Because it wasn't about his production or the way he played. You can look at that with a Jared Goff. The only one that had a decent year was what's his name? Carson Wentz. That's the only one that had a decent year and showed anything. Jared Goff, Paxton Lynch, Connor Cook failed. Connor Cook, you know what, when he got to play, he didn't look that hot. He didn't get to play towards the end of the season, but he didn't look great. Paxton Lynch definitely didn't, and Jared Goff could barely get on the field and couldn't take a fucking snap. These were the people they pulled out of their ass to put up against Dak Prescott, 12 gauge, Tremaine Boykin, Marquise Williams, and Jacoby Brissett. Those are the best quarterbacks in the draft that year. They pulled these guys out of their ass. That's what they did with Mr. Trubisky. He gets taken second when you have Deshaun Watson, when you have Patrick Mahomes, when you have Josh Dobbs, when you have Doug Evans out of Virginia Tech. I'm forgetting somebody. Who am I forgetting? When you have Kaiser, when you have all of these guys and they're acting like they don't see them, their ability, their accomplishments, their ability to be complete quarterbacks, and they're talking to you about all these other quarterbacks, including the Mr. Trubisky and all these other no-names who I don't even care to mention right about now. That's what these guys are. They're the media's need to have that face. And just like that less qualified, less accomplished quarterback getting the job over these guys that have actually done something, is no different than a man that's actually been to prison, not even being mentioned, so you don't hurt his draft status. But rumors about Dalvin Cook can get him drafted in the fucking second round. But Garrett gets his heart and his character question, or his will to play. Josh Dobbs gets his desire to play football question, but you don't mention that a guy like Bowles has been in prison. They think we're stupid, man, at the end of the day, and I just hope people keep that in mind when they put out any story, especially when they're repeating it. The perception is that character matters when evaluating a potential draft pick. In reality, character is determined by a group of people that, for the most part, don't have a drop of character their damn selves. I appreciate everybody coming aboard, man. Let's take a ride. This is the Underground Railroad Show with that ninja on Spreaker.com, live from the Man Cave Studios and broadcasting on WSME. Shaky ass start. Ball award and props to everybody that came back on the train after a horrific takeoff, after we had to get all of y'all off to repair and get things together, and you still got back on the train, stay patient with us, didn't leave, didn't ask for your refund. I appreciate that, man. Shout out to y'all, props to y'all. Appreciate that, man. Thanks for coming aboard, man. We're going to get this thing rolling, keep everything going. The format today is NFL draft talk, football talk. We're going to get into the NFL draft. I'm going to talk about the first round for the most part. I doubt if I have much time to do more than that. Got a nice amount of chat, man. Appreciate everybody being in here. Appreciate the chat, man. I'm going to get through here and introduce everybody. Go about it the best way I can. Try not to take too much time, but at the same time, acknowledge everybody. I want to make sure I spend my time giving you a show and not just introducing everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to spend too much time on that. And look, man, to everybody that I said I was going to give an intro to, man, I'm trying to figure out a way to work it in. I can't do everybody, and if I get the response that I want as far as participation, hopefully I get to the point where I really can't do that and I just have to mention you as I go through the chat or maybe acknowledge everybody at the end of the show. But as for now,